Ready?
Can you get everybody?
Yeah, I can.
Hey Ghost fans, we are here at the Denver Firefighter Museum. This is going to be our first investigation as a ghost here. We're here with our sister paranormal group, 970. And these are the guys behind us. This is Brian. He's going to introduce his team.
Hi, this is Brian from 970 Paranormal, and this is Carrie to my right, and to the left, yes, close enough.
Your other right.
Shauna, and Missy, and this is Brooke from Dark Side of Denver Tours.
Yeah, we do ghost tours out of downtown, lower downtown Denver.
So this is our first time here. Brian's been here a few times. I'm going to let him fill you guys in on what he's caught, and hopefully we get to catch a bunch of stuff too. And just walking in here, we've already gotten a lot of feelings. So I'll let him talk for a minute, and then we'll let Brooke talk for a minute on what he does.
Okay.
Well, really, Missy, I'm going to let you take this one.
What?
To talk.
Okay, well there's Missy. So Missy's going to do a little...
Well, we've been here like 11 times at the Firefighting Museum. And we've gotten some fantastic evidence over the years. We've gotten a picture of an apparition on one of the stairways that I took. And we recently got a shadow figure opening up a basement door, looking down and closing it. There's mainly like friendly ghosts here overall. They consider this their home. So the more that we come in, we realize they know us. In fact, we just kind of did a little bit tonight, and they called us out, 970 Paranormal, 970. So they know who we are. And that's a firm belief that the more you go to certain locations, the more spirits will get to know you, and they would be willing to talk to you. So that's kind of our theory on that.
We did an overnight session over here, and Shauna stayed in the chief's office, and she actually was touched by an entity.
Yeah, I kept just feeling this breath on the back of my neck and just try to ignore it, go to sleep, but it was just that constant breathing, and then it was just the breath that moved my hair. That was like woke me up, and I like got up and I was like, hey, so what you need? But yeah, it's a very active place. It is very interesting here.
I know.
Yeah, it's been going to red.
It's just been banging off.
Are you guys listening to us right now? Are you interested in why we're here tonight?
So this is our K2, and we talk to, we ask questions, and sometimes they will answer us, and we get them to light it up to the yellow or orange or red, and we can get answers this way. Sometimes Chris can hear them, we say, hey, tell Chris yes or no, or what's going on. But I want to go back to the history here. There's Caleb and Gabe.
Gabe is a new one that we've recently heard from.
Now, do you guys know how old they are?
Caleb,
He's a teenager.
mentally he's young, but he's probably 16.
16 or 60?
16.
16.
Yeah. And Gabe is kind of a new one.
We had one that Misty said once, can you help? And you hear, can you help us? And then there's Emma.
Emma's a very strong female. She definitely comes through and push people back to say what she wants. You've got Rose that's around this area. Mysteriously, you'll just walk through perfume.
Did you hear Pete?
Yeah.
There's also, have you ever experienced the ghost dog that's supposed to?
Oh yeah, all the time, constantly.
There's a dog.
There's a dog.
There's a ghost dog, and he sits in the office area.
Yeah, he sits under my desk, and every so often it feels like there's a dog. I own a dog, so I know that feeling of them walking between your legs. You'll hear like dog panting a lot over in that area. And we had a couple groups. The latest one was I think it was Altitude Paranormal or Alpine Paranormal. They have an EVP of a dog barking.
Nice.
Oh, Altitude came in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you guys.
We also have horses.
You've got
A lot of horses.
many spirits here.
Oh, yeah.
Horses, yeah.
And he's in here, the sir?
The dog is
The dog is
the dog's usually by
in the
my
office
desk.
area.
He's usually by my desk, or you can find him or the horses in the theater or the workshop, because those used to be horse stables. And when firefighters first got dogs, it was for them to be horse companions and herders, not necessarily mascots. That came later.
Sweet. And let's hear a little bit about Brooke. This is my first time meeting you, so I'm not really sure what you do. So.
We're getting McDonald's.
What do I do is a good question. My name's Brooke. I'm the owner-operator of Dark Side of Denver Ghost Tours, and I operate a historical and paranormal walking tour out of lower downtown Denver. And I take people into some of the oldest buildings of Denver, starting with Union Station, and we go actually into the basements of most of the buildings that I go into. I tell them people the stories that have happened there as far as the historical value of it, and also the paranormal stories that relate to some of that history as well as some of the new things we found out working with 970 Paranormal and combining that into a historical and paranormal tour. Denver is a very haunted place. Despite it not being famous for being haunted like some of the other cities, Denver is a very haunted place. And when you get into a place like this, a firefighter's station, now a museum, firefighters, I've learned this from, I've been involved in paranormal investigations across the country. 970 are some of the best guys that I've ever worked with, and that's why I love working with them now and finding out more things from them. But when you get into other fireplace stations that I've worked at or worked with, firefighters have such a commitment to the community during life. I mean, they literally put their lives on the line to save people, to save the buildings, to save the environment, that even after death, a lot of them will still cling on to these buildings because they still have that I need to keep this area safe kind of mentality. They can't let that go. And so just about every fire station I've ever been in has had some sort of haunts associated with it, and it's always been some of the firefighters that have been there from the past, sticking around and trying to make things good.
Make sure everything is still nice and protected, and warn people if something's going on. Just like, did you say that you had taken a cat nap in the back and they told you, let's go, there's
they're like, hey. And then the feedback tipped over, and I heard this engine number 1 bell way back there on my recorder, like it was next to me. And we came back, and we had to track down. We were like dinging everything, and it was that bell. So they were definitely like up in arms, like, hey,
we gotta go, we gotta get it. So
but any question on whether you can sleep in a haunted location, you absolutely can.
Can you show me?
So what got you interested in paranormal?
Sometimes I would describe this as I didn't necessarily choose this job. This job chose me. I've had things happen to me since I was a child, and I've always been drawn to whether it be cryptozoology, the paranormal world, supernatural world, things of the conspiracy nature, things like that.
You think it's a collie or a sheltie?
And the spirits have always seemed to lend themselves to me. I consider myself a bit of an empath.
We don't think it's a Dalmatian because the station actually never had a Dalmatian in it. Yeah, but they had collies.
I definitely feel energy and the spirits around me. I know whether it's negative or positive, things like that. And so over the years, I've worked through very different entertainment projects. I worked radio, things like that, and I learned how the art of storytelling. And over the years, honing that craft, it seems like the spirits are really appreciative of me being able to tell their story in a respectful manner that provides them a little bit of if you can imagine being in the void of death, the emptiness, the blackness that there is in the afterlife, so to speak. You want to be known. You want to have some sort of connection with this reality, this world again. And so when they find somebody that can bring their story out, that can connect people with them again, they truly enjoy that and are appreciative of that. And so I've built myself up into something that they have guided me along, I feel, for most of my life. They always say you're on a path and you never know that you're on that path. When I look back now, I know my path was leading me up to being able to do the things that I'm doing now with these locations and the people that are coming on this tour.
Yeah. Mainly what we have been doing, we do cleansings of the houses, so we do private investigations. And this last one that we went to, the lady really didn't understand why and who was at her house. Did they want to go? Are they, did they want to stay? They just want to get their story through. And we went and they talked to us, and we kept getting guilt, the word guilt, coming from a man. We had to, it's so awesome when you paste things together and then you get the whole story behind it. Well, we didn't understand why the men had guilt. We moved on to like the second floor, I think it was. And then we weren't getting too much there, and we ended up getting that there was an older guy and a younger girl, so we were asking questions. Well, is it your sister? Is it your cousin? Is it your niece? Well, come to find out, it was his daughter, and she was like, what, 5, 6, 7. So she wasn't here very long. Well, the night prior, I was getting sick to my stomach, and I didn't know what was going on. And once we confirm on a location, then things start coming to us. We get, start reading. Well, I was fine, and I ended up getting sick that night. And throughout that whole night, or the few hours that we were there, I was sick to my stomach, and I couldn't figure out why. Well, come to find out, the little girl, what was her name? Do you remember her name?
No, I can't remember now.
Well, I can't remember her name either. Like 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm trying to sleep, then it'll come to my head.
Can't remember her name.
And so we come to find out that it's the father and the daughter died because she had some kind of sickness in her stomach, and they couldn't get rid of it. And the dad felt guilty that he couldn't help his daughter, and she died. And that's where the guilt came.
Yeah.
Now, we asked the little girl if she wanted to move on so we can help her move on, and she flat out said no. She wasn't on this earth long enough to feel safe outside of that house, because that's the area where she was born, or where she was, and that's the area she died in.
Yeah.
So she was down in the basement, and we had asked, did you die down here? Were you buried down here? Before the house was there, obviously. So she was buried in that location. She was buried where she died. And the father felt so guilty. And we asked the father, does he want to move on? Well, he's not going to move on unless his daughter moves on. Yeah. And the daughter said no, she didn't want to go. So the father's like, well, I'm not going to go either. So we made the homeowner comfortable with what was going on. And we told her, well, you need to let them know you're the boss. And you tell them their boundaries.
Yeah.
And
so far, they've been fine. That was their home.
But yeah, it felt so awesome. We were talking on the way home, like everything got pieced together. And as soon as it all came to what happened, how it happened, why he felt guilty, why she doesn't want to go, I wasn't sick anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It felt like it helped it, maybe let it go a little bit of it.
Yeah, figured out why she died, and when we were done, and the homeowner was good with what was going on, and the spirits were good with what's going on, I was all better. I was able to eat and drink and, back to myself, and so.
Yeah, it's amazing the effects that energy, leftover energy, residual energy will have on people that are still experiencing it to this day. So we walked through Union Station a lot on that tour, and there's been so much energy that's gone in and out of that building for 136 plus years that sometimes people will walk in there, the energy will overwhelm them. Yeah. I mean, headaches will come over them, pains in their stomach, nausea, things like that. But then as soon as we leave the space, it'll wash off of them. It'll take away from it. And that's what's good about finding out what these energies are, because it can help to release some of the effect that it has on the environment around it, where it's still being held at.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love this.
Yeah. So let's get to investigating.
Well, first, one thing I want to mention too is that we got together with another group. We formed our own group, and just like going to that house, we have found that we piece together our own individual. We don't get what the other one gets, hardly ever.
Yeah.
She usually gets a lot different than I do. And so together we piece that.
Yeah, I'll hear something and then she'll hear something, and I'm like, did you hear that sneeze? And she's like, no, I heard somebody yell, you know, or did you hear somebody cough?
That's an
And she's
interesting
like,
thing with the theory about it is how people experience things on different levels. So you can have a group of people together, and you might hear something that nobody else did. You might hear something nobody else did.
yeah.
And it just kind of depends on what wavelength you're on as far as spiritual energy.
Yeah, like I would hear a sneeze, she would hear a yell. As we were on an investigation down on a road, and she heard something and I heard something, and I felt just so much pain that I fell to the floor. And she's looking at me like,
well, we were in the Dickens, remember that, or what was her name when Shauna was playing the piano? On the stage, Eve, and she went through you to get to her, sit down and watch her play piano.
yeah, and she went through me, and I just had, Brian never had an understanding of how my ability worked, and he was standing next to me like, why are you crying? What's the matter with you? And I just had to walk away.
Are you an empath? Okay.
Yeah.
One of them.
I'm just curious.
I cried at the Dickens, the Wailing Woman, and I think that was Beth. And we finally took care of Beth, but we have a guy that's really unhappy with us and growls at us.
Yeah.
And I think we have another girl, Karen, that needs some help, so we're going to try and get her. You know, we're there to help what they want. You know, if they want to stay, that's great.
Yep. Just gotta be nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So there you go, Ghost fans. We're here in Denver at the Firefighter Museum. Awesome place. If you guys are in the neighborhood, come down here. The workers here would love to explain stuff to you, show you around, get some t-shirts and stuff, and throughout the night we'll be posting stuff, and
Maybe we'll do a
And the
couple
museum
lives
definitely takes donations to make stuff
just to
happen
make
here.
sure
So
the
if you make a
upkeep.
visit, please do a donation to help them out.
Yep, and if you want help from either one of our groups, just
Get a
post
hold of
it,
us.
post it on our Facebook page, 970 Paranormal.
Darksideofdenver.com.
There you
Ghost.
go.